We've talked a lot about our rookie running backs, but usually we're comparing them against each other. We're trying to figure out who our running back 3, our running back 4 is in this rookie class. Instead, what I want to be looking at is the veterans next to these players in ADP and trying to figure out what are they actually worth? What are they actually worth against players that you currently have on your dynasty teams, just in case you opt in a dynasty startup this offseason, or just in case you want to have a better idea of what your dynasty rookie picks are worth. But before we get into it, make sure you go down there, drop a like on this video, subscribe if you play Dynasty, and if you want to check out any of these Super Bowl player props, of course, you can find that link to Underdog Fantasy in the comment section, in the description. When you sign up for Underdog with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. And on top of it, you are going to get our 2023 Dynasty rankings with a minimum of a $10 deposit. So make sure you take advantage of that. And let's dive into this. And first off, we're going to be looking at Bijan Robinson. I mean, we've already said everything that we need to with this man. Of course, hook 'em horns. Let's start it off there. But this is a running back that has 3-down size. He can handle 25 plus touches a game. I mean, if we go through and look at what he did this past year at Texas, in 12 games played, the man had 277 touches. Now, what's most important about his profile is not only does he have the frame and the ability to handle 25 touches a game, but more importantly, he has the passing down ability alongside this frame. This is not a running back that's just going to be catching dump offs. It's a running back that runs real routes, 16.5 yards per reception this past season, 11 yards per reception the year prior with 26 receptions in only 10 games played. And then the year before that, his true freshman season, the man averaged over 13 yards per reception, literally over 13 yards per reception throughout his entire career at Texas. You have the size, you have the passing down ability, and right now, according to NFL Mock Draft Database, it's going to be going around pick 16. Of course, we don't know exactly where, but regardless, if we head over to Sleeper right now, of course, Sleeper ADP is not going to be perfect, but at this time of the offseason, this will be the best data that we actually have to look at. He's going as the running back 3 off the board in Dynasty startups. He's going directly behind Christian McCaffrey and Jonathan Taylor, directly in front of Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker. Now, honestly, with Christian McCaffrey, I don't think he should be considered in this range. I mean, I think that the majority of dynasty startup drafts that you're going to be in, you won't see Christian McCaffrey as a top 4 running back off the board. You're going to have some order of Jonathan Taylor, Bijan Robinson, Breece Hall, and Kenneth Walker. And if you go through and look at the majority of the mock drafts that I've hosted on this channel with our live streams, you actually see that Bijan Robinson is going at the end of the first round, the beginning of the second, as sometimes the first running back off the board. Now, of course, I am pretty biased when I go through and say this, but I'm fine with it. Now, what I've learned in the past when we're looking at these generational type running back prospects, where you had guys coming out and scoring at truly elite levels. 2018, we had Saquon Barkley. 2020, you had Jonathan Taylor. 2022, we had Breece Hall. But regardless, the second you see that running back prospect check every single box and you know he's going to be the 3-down bell cow the second he steps on the field, buy in early. Buy in right away, because if you don't, you're not going to have a shot this season after, and we know these players will be producing. So honestly, Bijan Robinson is a top 4 running back in Dynasty consensus, and he should be. I think this is a completely fair point for him. Now, someone that I've actually been taking in these Dynasty startup mock drafts as of late is going to be Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, if we're looking at Jahmyr Gibbs and the running backs that he is going next to, the group of guys include Najee Harris, Javonte Williams, DeAndre Swift, Nick Chubb, and Ramondre Stevenson. Am I a mind? I don't see why this would ever be the case. Maybe if you're playing in a non-PPR format where we don't know the landing spot yet of Jahmyr Gibbs, we don't have his official size, we don't have his official draft capital. If you're in that non-PPR format with all that information missing, I'm fine if you wanted to push him down here. But in reality, he should be going significantly higher than this. Let me go through and pull up the last startup draft that we just went through and took Jahmyr Gibbs in to show you exactly where I got him. And honestly, I was pretty excited about getting him in this range. We ended up taking Jahmyr Gibbs at the 406. This was directly after Josh Jacobs, directly before Javonte Williams and DeAndre Swift. And I don't understand how this is a player that's not going to be at minimum, a late third dynasty startup pick to an early fourth dynasty startup pick in Superflex drafts, because he has almost everything you want to see. We know he's going to get the NFL draft capital. He should go in the late first round, beginning of the second round of the NFL draft. He is an elite passing down running back. We already all know this. I'm not coming out here telling you something that's new here. 24 receptions as a true freshman, 35 receptions as a true sophomore, and then 44 receptions this past season at Alabama, where he was incredibly efficient. The man had, a whopping 10 yards per reception, 6.1 yards per carry. And keep in mind, this is not the usual Alabama offense that is just beating people down with more talented players across the board. It's actually a little bit of a weaker Alabama roster this season compared to what we usually have with Bama. But yeah, I think that it's a very easy spot to go through and make the investment into Jahmyr Gibbs in this range in a PPR format. I'm all in. Now, our next guy, according to Sleeper, is going to be Zach Charbonnet, who, in my mind, maybe is a little bit overvalued. I'm going to be very interested to see the NFL Combine, the testing measurables with Zach, very similar to with Gibbs, where we need to see his BMI to know exactly where we should be ranking him. Zach, I want to see how fast he is. I want to see his testing numbers, because that's also going to have a massive impact on his NFL draft capital, where right now he's supposed to be going in the late second round of the NFL draft or the beginning of the third round. This is a running back that has two big things working in his favor. It's a running back that has the size. He most likely is going to be able to be a 3-down running back at the next level. He just averaged 23 touches per game this past season at UCLA. And what I am most excited about, and what rose him in my rankings compared to where he was an offseason ago when we thought he was coming out, is how he demonstrated the ability to catch the ball this final season at UCLA. He went from only having 2 receptions a game his junior season to 3.7 receptions a game as a senior here, almost doubling that mark and being efficient while doing so, having his best season of his career from a yards per touch standpoint. So if we're looking at a running back that can catch the ball, that has the size to be a 3-down player, in my mind, it really just all does come down to the NFL Combine, what the testing numbers look like, and that's going to lead to where he ends up going in the NFL draft and the opportunity that he's going to see. Right now, if we're looking at a sleeper ADP, going directly behind some veterans, guys like Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones, going directly before running back like Cam Akers, Miles Sanders, Sean Tucker, James Cook, AJ Dillon. I would love to know your opinion in the comment section here. Would you rather have Zach or James Cook? Because I'm looking at this scenario, I'm saying, okay, well, with James Cook, we know that he has a red flag on his profile. We know that he's going to be severely undersized. He'll never be a running back seeing 20 plus touches a game. But at the same time, he was selected in the second round of the NFL draft. He's the only guy signed to the Buffalo Bills for the running back position next season. And we know he's an elite offense. So if he has the team investment, he's a great passing down running back in an elite offense. He's going to be the starter. It's not like they're going to be replacing him next season. I think maybe we have some more certainty with the James Cook profile at this point. If Zach goes through and has a great performance at the NFL Combine, then I'll be willing to change my tune here a little bit. And also, AJ Dillon will be interesting for me as well. With Dillon, we've been talking about this a decent amount, but the Packers could end up saving a ton of money if they decide to move on from Aaron Jones. I don't know what's going to happen. I think a lot of this hinges on what happens with Aaron Rodgers, and if this team decides to burn it down, or if this team thinks that they can contend this next season. But you have AJ Dillon, another running back that's a flash when given the opportunity, a running back that can handle 20 plus touches a game, a running back that was selected in the second round of the NFL draft, a running back that has demonstrated the ability to catch the ball with possibly a starting job next year. So it's interesting. I probably at this point would prefer the veterans compared to the rookie before the NFL Combine. The NFL Combine could change some things here for us. Now let's go over to our next guy in the same range. Sean Tucker, I don't really like him here, if I'm going to be honest. He is also going right before James Cook, AJ Dillon, Isaiah Pacheco, Brian Robinson, Tyler Algier. A little bit too rich for me. I want to see what his size is. This is a running back that, did handle 20 plus touches a game this final season at Syracuse. Another running back like everybody in this draft class that is a phenomenal passing down guy. But at the end of the day, my main concern coming from a smaller school is if I'm pulling up NFL mock draft database, right now they have have him projected at pick 112. So you're projecting him to be a day 3 pick in the NFL draft at this point. And if we were going to be comparing him to those other running backs that were day 3 draft picks, but have already demonstrated the ability to be productive at the NFL level, someone like Tyler Algier, I would make an argument that might as well just go ahead and take that veteran where we already know it. Unless Sean Tugger is a little bit bigger than initially thought, unless he's a little bit faster than initially thought, unless he goes a little bit higher in the NFL draft than we initially think. But I think right now I'm going to prefer guys like, James Cook, A.J. Dillon, Tyler Algier, all over him. Now, our next guy, according to Sleeper, is actually someone where kind of like this price point. It will be Zach Evans. Zach Evans, very difficult to know exactly what we have. Obviously, a hyper-efficient running back. Looking at what he was able to do at TCU on a limited sample, it was obnoxious. Transfers from TCU to go to Ole Miss to have better competition, and what ends up happening is TCU makes it to the championship. It doesn't really matter too much, but you are looking at a running back that this past season at Ole Miss still wasn't able to go out there and be the starter on his own team. He actually was crushed when it comes to the actual carries per game. But what's really nice is he leads the team in yards per carry. So yet again, just like what we saw in the first 2 years of his NFL career, so running back that's hyper efficient on a per touch basis. And that's making a lot of people extremely excited about Zach Evans. Plus, looks like he has all the tools. If we're going to be looking at where he's supposed to go in the NFL draft at this point, supposed to be a round 3 selection. I wouldn't be too surprised. This is a running back that actually moves up these draft boards or down. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up going in the 2nd or if he ends up going in the 4th. But almost regardless, I like the price point because you are going to be getting him behind all those other running backs that we were talking about. Instead, he's going directly ahead of someone like David Montgomery, where Montgomery has never really shown us a great talent profile. Combine that with the fact that with David Montgomery, he's not under contract this next season. He's going a few spots ahead of James Conner, where honestly, I'd probably rather have Zach Evans at this point. James Conner, he got 1 great year left. He's still under contract for Arizona next season. But yeah, Zach Evans, going back to what we were discussing, unlike the previous running back who's a little bit higher according to Sleeper and Sean Tucker, I like this price point. Going over to another hyper-efficient running back at Texas A&M, someone that dominated Isaiah Spiller from an efficiency standpoint while they were both there. You're looking at, in 2021, Isaiah Spiller, who everybody was very excited about before the NFL Combine, as a running back that averages 5.6 yards per carry, compared to Devin there at 7. At the same time, with fewer carries, more touchdowns. At the same time, we know that Isaiah Spiller was sold to be some great passing down running back. Well, hell, in the same amount of games, he has about the same amount of receptions, but significantly more efficient with those receptions. This past season at Texas A&M really has almost every single touch, and very similar to almost every other running back in this class. What I really like to see is he can catch the ball. He goes out there, he has 36 receptions, and the next best running back with Daniels is sitting at 2. So he dominates the receiving game. He's hyper efficient compared to other NFL draft prospects we've seen in the past. Now, the main issue is going to be the size. Very similar to with some of these other running backs. I feel like all these guys, we kind of need to see something at the NFL Combine. If we're going to be looking at Jameer, we need to be able to see his BMI, his official size. I'm really interested to see, Zach's overall testing numbers with his speed. I'm interested to see Sean's testing. There's a lot we want to see with Devin. It's going to be that size if he can profile to be a 3-down player. Right now, if we're going to be looking at where NFL mock drafters are putting him, they're putting him at the end of the 2nd round, the beginning of the 3rd round. So in my mind, if you're going to be getting him at this discount, very similar to what we had with Zach Evans previously, he's an easy pick. Take the rookie here over the veteran. But just to recap, I want to kind of say that the majority of these rookie running backs are undervalued here on Sleeper. If we're going to be looking at Bijan Robinson, sign me up. Jahmyr Gibbs, sign me up. Zach Charbonnet, I think that's about a fair price. Sean Tugger, a little overvalued, but Evan smash, Devin smash. Really like the majority of these. We'll be doing the same video at the wide receiver position. So if you enjoyed this, make sure you go down there, drop a like, subscribe to the channel. If you want to check out any of these player props, link in the description, link in the comment section. Underdog Fantasy, use promo code FLOCK when you sign up. They'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar, $200, and you'll get our 2023 Dynasty rankings. That's all I got for you. Thank you again. I truly do appreciate you, and I really hope you have a great day.